housing and homelessness is a crisis. King County counted 4,505 people last week. I know many communities have counted lots of homeless folks living outside with no place to stay. We're hearing about increases all over the state. The Washington State Legislature is right behind you. They are in the middle of writing their state budget. We know that education, healthy families, recovery. All right, I think the lawmakers are hearing you. Excellent.
We're making strides, I think, this session on getting more landlords to accept portable screening reports and making it clear they will accept them. My personal dream of what I hope we can accomplish with you guys being here is on the Housing Trust Fund. I work on the Senate capital budget for that issue, and my goal is to really drive home the message the Housing Trust Fund is not a partisan issue.
For the war against poverty will not be won here in Washington. It must be won in the field, in every private home, in every public office, from the courthouse to the White House, and must be supported and directed by state and local efforts.
The interaction of federal, state, and local politics is it's critical to understand.
What is the state's role in affordable housing? If you look at land use planning, as a broad concept dating back to history, it's fundamentally local planning. I mean, that's where the rubber meets the road.
Principally, the burden of resolving homelessness has fallen on state and local government, and have the resources to do it.
I mean, functional zero, the simplified version is that when someone presents with a housing crisis, within 30 days or less, hopefully a lot less than 30 days, they get a place to live. They're not left outside.
We just need more inventory. I mean, when you're down to 1 or 2% vacancy rate, basically landlords can charge whatever they want because there's so much competition.
So have you been looking?
Yeah, I've been checking out the neighborhood, driving around, looking. But again, it's college students or, if you got pets.
So you're running into barriers.
Yeah. A lot of us are on SSI, and we're not all bad. I may look like the midnight mugger, but it's the people in suits you got to worry about. Greed. A lot of greed out there. That's why there's so much homeless right now. Now they don't take time to think about us, then they wonder why so many people stay in motels and everything. Not everybody stays in motels is bad. You just ain't got the money to, get an apartment, a house, or whatever else. Even if I wound up sleeping in a car, they'll be there with me. I don't get rid of my pets.
This is everything I own. My trunk is like my lockbox. If I get pulled over and they tow my car, I lose everything. Literally everything. All of it. Gone. I got a backpack. My license is suspended, so now I can't really drive it. Like, real are you trying to make this video? You're already going with this, right?
Well, I don't know about real. We're here on a.
I mean, basically, I'm actually, I'm a junkie, and I'd like to get well. And if you guys don't mind, if it's gonna bother you, I will. But if it's the type of thing that you guys don't want to see, then I can wait.
Yeah.
Just don't call the cops, please.
Did anyone else come by here?
No, a couple. There was a couple.
Sit down and get out of the rain for a second.
The tire in the car?
Tire in the car?
Yeah. No? Nobody came by and talked to you about the car tire?
No, what?
Okay. They have video of it.
Of my car being...
This car looks like this car with a new tire on it, and I don't know which tire. I haven't seen the video or anything. So, you have no...
No, I think that they're mistaken. So this is my life. Everything. If it gets towed, I lose it. I lose everything.
Okay, I'll go talk to them. See what they want to do.
All right.
Okay. Yep. Did you take the tire?
They can have it back.
They can have it back.
I mean,
Which tire?
the one you pointed at.
Huh?
The one you pointed
All
at.
right.
I mean, like, I had to get my car out of where it was at. It was
Will you take it over there right now when you're done?
I'd be happy to. I mean, it's, if they don't want to press charges, if I, you know,
I don't know what they'll want to do, but if you want to go over and take it over, I'll meet you there.
Okay. Well, I can't, I can't drive. Basically, like, nobody wants to help me with this kind of shit because I'm a junkie. I really hope I don't go to jail.
Homeless people exploit other homeless people in certain circumstances. They form their own social groups, and those social groups, for the most part, are pretty dysfunctional. The dynamics there are not totally dissimilar from these antisocial dynamics that many homeless people adopt just simply to get through the next day alive.
Women and children, more and more, are starting out living in their cars and hopefully are not in the woods.
For the most part, I did this all by myself, and I take care of this and maintain this all by myself. Yeah, we started a garden over there. We cook on the stove over there. My friend gave me a little stove, a little camp stove or whatever, but I mostly give all my firewood over there, but I don't want to give my firewood this time. Yeah. It's just become one with the woods and one with nature and stuff like that. And they're like, they got a home for them. I'm like, so there's a chance for me yet? Yeah! Woohoo! I've only been looking for 4 years. You know? On rainy days, I can stay in my tent all day. It's kind of boring. Yesterday, I took a walk. I was like, I'm just gonna go exploring. Well, it was easier for me to be out here too because I wasn't getting anywhere with housing. Living on my friend's couch. I wasn't getting any places with my doctor's appointments. Staying out there in Birch Bay, there's no buses. So now I'm getting my doctor's appointment and now I'm getting housing. Since I've been out here, I've had 3 housing appointments. Here you guys are doing this interview-y thing and I'm on a housing list.
Oh my God, hi. Hello, welcome. Hi, how's it going? Okay, I'm good.
Getting Laura into housing was difficult and quite a surprise and shock to her. She didn't feel like it was going to manifest for herself. She had given up hope and thought that she would be on the streets much longer. In the look of her face at that moment when she got to see walls, and she just held for a moment in her mind the fact that she had place. I remember profoundly her standing in the corner and looking up at the ceiling.
There's my own walls and my own...
Yep.
My own windows.
Mm-hmm. There's another lock on the other side too.
Okay. Oh, that feels so much better already.
Yeah. Feels nice? Yeah. Going from being shaky and unstable to finding that immediate sense of peace. I have place. I have somewhere that I can be now. I have somewhere that I belong.
Oh, my bed.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I have too much stuff for this place.
Even in communities like Whatcom, who just on the cutting edge of doing the right thing, when communities doing the right thing were falling behind, despite their really good work, being overwhelmed.
In Whatcom County, we have obviously made investments for shelter for all different kinds of people. Unfortunately, when we did our point in time count, even though we're in much better position than many people in the state, we were still up.
So something has got to happen here, hopefully, Either people have to stop whining about seeing all the homeless people on the street, or they have to kick their legislators in the butt and make them start appropriating money for the development of affordable housing.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. Nice to meet you.
It's great to meet you. Yeah.
Hi, Kevin.
No.
Is it fun? Is it a good place to hang out?
Yeah, I cooked last night.
Oh yeah? What'd you make?
Barbecue chicken and potatoes.
Did we get in for dinner?
With rosemary from our garden upstairs.
Is Bellingham a good example of kind of what's going on?
I think so.
So we've probably got 2/3 more people homeless than we're able to take care of right now. So how many total homeless then? Like, how many actually on the street, not shelter?
Of
In
all
the Belling-
populations?
300. Of all populations?
Yes.
300. So we think there's like 300 total people. Adults, vets, kids.
There's too
On the street.
Too many.
Not
On the
shelter.
street, not at a shelter, they might be in
Living
a
in
car, they might be in
camps.
a tent.
While I'm here talking, advocating for the homeless, I would never have done that before in my whole entire life. I was out in the street, and now I'm here talking to.
How long were you in the street?
How long have you been out here?
This is my 3rd month
In this
in this
camp?
area. Yeah,
Yeah. But you've been out here a lot longer than that.
for 4 years.
Yeah.
From domestic violence. The 1st and the 2nd and the 3rd of May, I went made posters and slept on City Hall and protested. And I spoke at City Council, and I had never done anything like this before in my life.
Laura Rawls.
Hi, my name is Laura Ross. I'm here just to address the City Council and the city. We can come together to end homelessness, to provide shelter, affordable housing, beds, sinks, toilets, garbage pickup, to save on our taxes. It's cheaper to provide a homeless person with a home than it is for a homeless person to utilize the city and the local resources. Everyone deserves a place to call home, and we're all people. Thank you.
How many folks wanted to stay? How many folks do
There's
you
a lot
think?
of people that want to stay out there
Why is that?
because they want to do their drugs and they want to live their life the way they want to live. Some people don't want housing, some people don't want it, but they still need a place to live. Store their stuff, lock their stuff up so they can leave their camp so they're not breaking their backs, carrying everything they own that's valuable on their backs, because that was one of the biggest, hardest parts for me, because I had to carry everything that I owned that was valuable.
You got shelter, but it seems like you're also just coming into your own again, right?
Yeah, I am. I'm coming into my own.
That's pretty awesome.
Because I was cut down and beat for a long time. I don't want to be beat no more. Be beat by my family. I'm fucking been beat by my wife. I've been beat by a husband. I don't fucking need to be beat no more. Stand up for myself. I'm tired of people being shit on all the time. I don't want to fucking kick ass and take names.
I think you are wrong. You are amazing. You're absolutely amazing. You have to come down to Olympia.
Okay.
Yes. I'm going to have the censor button, okay?
Help us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in. Like, game over, let's do this.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're awesome.
The program I shall propose will emphasize this cooperative approach to help that 1/5 of all American families with incomes too small to even meet their basic needs.
I mean, there's lots of things that contribute to homelessness, and it's basically, it's family breakups, domestic violence, job loss, mental health, substance abuse, etc., educational attainment. I mean, just anything you can list can contribute to homelessness. But when we look at trends, what's driving the recent increase, the only thing that we see that's increasing is the change in affordability. It's meaning they're paying more than 50% of their income for housing. Affordability is the combination of income and rents, and they're diverging. So as the incomes and rents diverge, you puts more and more people at risk of losing their housing.
For every 50 extremely low-income households, we have 12 units of housing in the state of Washington affordable and available to them. In that kind of mathematics, you're going to see a ton of people on the street.
And you have hundreds of thousands of families right on the edge, and that's a growing group of people. It makes it harder and harder. The slight, disruption in their life pushes them into outright homelessness.
Well, on my way here, I was going to go to my sister's in Ferndale, and she said that right now it's not a good time. So I'm kind of like, I'm on the train, I'm coming from Everett, and so my plans were like switched up. So I guess I don't know how long I'm going to be on the streets, but it could be a little while.
The Vietnam veterans coming out of the woods, those vets who have been taught to survive are coming out of the woods. They're aging.
I'm an 8-year veteran, 4 Marines, 4 Army and 4 Marines. You got to laugh, because if you don't laugh, you're a melancholy guy. You start crying, which I do a lot. You got some nice people out here, that lives out here out in the wood too. But, it's sad. It's sad. It's very sad. I've been living out in the wood for 8 years now. It's a hard life, man. It's a hard life, and people that live on the wood know this. Now I'm an alcoholic, chain smoker, and it really hurts me.
Most people who aren't dealing with the homeless don't understand how much autonomy they themselves have and how much the homeless don't. I mean, if you are really spent, if you're spending most of your day trying to find shelter, somewhere safe to stay, trying to find food, trying to find a way to get to your health care provider, all these things that are incredibly difficult when you're homeless. They're not so much free to do as they would like to do, just because they're busy trying to survive.
I started rapping when rap first came out. That was the Sugar Hill Gang that got radio played. It just came to me naturally. I had my chance at my 15 minutes of fame. You know what I mean? At that time when rap came out and stuff like that, and I met, make a long story short, I met Ice-T before he became the Ice-T. He got his break and I went to prison. I was at the Mission 2002. I got out of Folsom. I was just trying to figure out, what the hell I'm gonna do. I'm no longer on parole or nothing. I was walking up the alley, the back alley of the Mission, and I seen Freddie walking up too. It was kind of funny because his backpack was bigger than him. That backpack was so big because he carried his sleeping bag everywhere he went because Freddie didn't give a damn. And so we sat there, we drank, we just talking, I'd go back and get another one. I had the money, because of the side job. Once I met Freddie, I just quit staying at the Mission. You know what I mean? And Freddie, man, I told Freddie, man, I'll just camp out, man, me and you. We could tell the time by the fucking seagulls. We could tell the time by the trains, you know what I mean? Or the amount of traffic going, we knew what time it was, didn't need no watch. Actually, man, I owe him my life to show. He taught me how to survive on the streets. He taught me how to fly the sign because he seen I wasn't good at asking people for change. I didn't like that. He goes, fly the sign, let the sign do the talking. He'd be courteous to people. And they already read the sign, so you don't have to say nothing. But Freddie, he's got a gleam in his eye. He's got his American bandana on. It took me under his wing, and he showed me, you know, everything I needed to know about surviving. Freddie would always say when we first started rolling around, you know, got to have wake up, and I said, you know, that got to have nightcap and wake up, you know what I mean? Because you know, ooh, I mean, that's a whole different story. For me coming down off alcohol, I never experienced no shit like that in my life. Them hallucinations scared the hell out of me. Last night I was talking to the homeboy upstairs, and I said, Lord, I said, you know, even when Laura wrote me off, she told me plain out, I got you in here, Leonard, because to tell you the truth, if you would have went back to the streets, you were gonna die. I said, well, you know what, you ain't the only person that told me this.
My work is to care for people. My work is to interrupt and contradict that notion that they're unwanted and that there's not a place for them in our community. And so much of what I do and what I teach my staff to do at Francis Place and encourage them to do is like to just be available to build relationships.
I just want to take a moment to honor the people that live here, because you're the reason that Francis Place exists.
Francis Place is Bellingham's best, most recent supportive housing project, and it's a 42-unit apartment building, and it houses people who have been chronically homeless.
We understand that individuals with really high barriers, that they need something that's stable and constant.
The most sarcastic resident at Francis Place.
So permanent supportive housing it's long-term housing for really the most vulnerable people that have been living on the street.
Our very own Miss Laura Roz. She's been awarded for the most booming voice, and we say, keep up the good work, Laura.
Through street outreach and other means, we engage with people who are chronically homeless and help them get into a supportive environment.
You know, you've been living on the streets for a long time, and there's a lot of things going on for you. And so here is a place where you can come, and there's not a time limit.
Our very own Leonard Morris has been awarded the illest rapper.
The thing about Francis Place that's so important is that it provides 24/7 staff support, so the tenants in there have all the support that they need to achieve their goals.
Happy birthday, everybody.
It is a lot cheaper to put people in permanent supportive housing that can address the challenges and problems in their lives than leave them on the street, let them cycle repeatedly through our ERs and our jails, which is a very expensive way to deal with a problem.
Many people don't want to come into a shelter. I understand that. But I also think that if you have mental illness or drug and alcohol abuse, how do you know? I mean, how do you know if you really don't want help? Maybe you do. But I think people need a chance to see what it feels like to sleep in where it's warm, and to have a meal that they don't have to go looking for, and to have a place to leave their stuff.
I do believe that homelessness is a symptom of a larger problem. As a first responder, one of the biggest misconceptions that I think people have about homeless people is that they're all drunk or they're all stoned. I think people would be a little more forgiving, a little more understanding if they knew the depth of the mental health problems in the homeless community.
When I asked the cops what they thought were the biggest needs that I could help them with in this arena, they said more hot team, and then the second thing was more beds.
Oh yeah, so the prosecutor was just shocked that stuff could keep people out. So here's what I found out. What's this gentleman's name?
Oh, that's Joseph. He just lost his housing at City Gate.
And he's a vet, right?
Whenever the city or local businesses have issues where they don't quite exactly know how to deal with it and they need people just to connect with folks who are experiencing homelessness, our team gets called, we go out, we connect with them and do our best to lead them to services. If somebody who has been chronically homeless for 20 years suddenly meets us, they're not going to go into housing that next day, right? Even if there were spots available, it just takes time for all of us. That's just the reality of life, is that change sometimes takes time. And with outreach, we know that. So our focus is on the relationship. We really, really get to know folks.
Sure. Anybody want a piece of gum?
I'll have one for later. I just ate
sugar free? Huh?
Is it sugar free? I don't want it to stick to my dentures.
Sugar free.
That's perfect.
Is that what it has to be when because your dentures?
Yeah, or it makes it a holy mess.
Holy mess. I'll eat that later. I have to get cat food. I don't have any more money.
The regular food bank, starting at 11 o'clock today, you can go. And then you can also go...
Can I go to the Humane Society? It's just right around the corner from here.
Yeah. Yep.
Today?
From 10 to 6.
Okay.
And then Hope House has some too.
I'm gonna use your bike today so I can get some cat food for the cats.
In outreach, the reason we do this is because we genuinely love people and want to know who they are and want to connect.
You guys are kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah, the conditions in the camps really vary. Kate and Teresa with outreach, anyone here? You've got some folks who will pack up every night and then they don't leave any trace and you don't even know that they're camping, to other camps that are really established. There's a lot of stuff in them.
We have a crew here that we need you to get out, please.
People give folks experiencing homelessness stuff because it's easy for us to do, and a lot of that stuff ends up abandoned at camps when people need to move on.
This will be my 7th year living on the street. 8 years in the woods. You know, so, I mean, I make enough money maybe monthly because I'm on SSI and SSA, but I only have about $5.
You've got a lot of folks who are dealing with either mental health or drug addiction or possibly a criminal history that prevents them from getting into housing. So what we find with folks at camps is just that there are a lot of really complex issues that they're dealing with.
They believe that someone knows them and cares about what they care about too. And then they've had some success getting people who maybe were first reluctant to go somewhere to go.
Yeah, well, they wanted to put me in detox first, but I said, no, I can detox that out of myself because I've done it before, you know. I just want to go to treatment.
So they're looking for the treatment part.
Yeah, they're just looking for a bed date.
Okay.
And it'll be a couple of weeks. So I got to keep in touch with them.
He was released and there wasn't anywhere for him to go, so he was just released back to his camp.
Back to the street.
We found him a couple times. I mean, and it was just every time we'd find him, I mean, honestly, I think both of us felt one day.
Kind of makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
And
Like it just reminded me how valuable every single life is. Every single person that we interact with is a Carlos, and it's just that real. Like, it's that simple.
you guys are doing
It's pretty powerful.
so much help with the homeless people. I mean, I give you guys kudos, you know what I'm saying? I give you God blessings, you know? Because you all deserve it.
Thanks.
You need a slap on the back every once in a while.
Well, you need a hug every once in a while, too.
Congratulations to our homeless outreach team. They are doing such a good job of making contact with people who may need help and getting to know them, and maybe that will make a difference.
If this society, if this community is okay with walking by me and averting their eyes, pretending I'm not here, then I must actually be invisible. I must not matter to anyone.
If you have someone who experiences trauma, especially at a young age, they're going to have a higher risk for mental illness later in life.
Oh, yeah, I went to anger management class, but I got sick, but I think it was because I don't want to bring up all that past stuff, you know? Everyone hides behind their anger and hides behind something. whether or not it's domestic violence or sexual assault or drugs, or it don't matter. You're hiding behind something. Just try to survive. You gotta get yourself out.
I love the idea of trauma-informed care, acknowledging that people might be where they're at in their life because of trauma that they've had.
It's becoming a very important thing to consider in terms of prevention, because if we can prevent some of these things like homelessness and poverty and deprivation, then we may be able to start breaking that cycle.
I think a lot of what we do is figure out what it is what motivates someone. Like, what is it that they would like to do? What are their goals? And sometimes it's, I want to have a phone conversation with my mom, or I want to reconnect with my kid. Okay, well, what are the steps from here to there?
Listening to people, letting them know that you care and that what happened to them matters.
It's really hard. It's really hard, even though I choose to live this way.
Giving them hope that just because they have experienced this trauma in the past doesn't mean that they're always going to be having difficulties. There's hope in terms of treatment of that mental illness through medications, there's counseling. There's hope in terms of connecting people with resources in the community.
Probably going to leave a message.
That's fine.
Calling from Seymour Community Health Center. I'm calling in regards to my client. So thank you very much and have a great day. Bye. All right.
Yay.
So we've done all of our things now.
How did we get from a few people experiencing homelessness to what we've got going on now? How did that happen?
It will not be a short or easy struggle, but we shall not rest until that war is won. The richest nation on earth can afford to win it. We cannot afford to lose it.
The whole question of guns and butter in the Vietnam War was in play and in flux. And I think that the war against the poor really began after the war on poverty was initiated. And it got shifted as soon as Nixon, after Lyndon resigned and Nixon became president. There was such a huge outcry because community action in those days, the war on poverty, was in every low-income county in the United States.
This certainly doesn't look like ticky-tack housing to me, like so many people think of housing projects.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Have you had any, is it cheap? Have you found defects in it?
Oh, no.
You'd say that this is about as good as you could get for anybody's money.
Well, you couldn't get this anywhere else. We're all getting up in years, and we don't expect a whole lot, like we would if we were younger. How's that?
As a resident of a government-backed or government-subsidized housing development, you feel you can't hold your head up when you walk down the street to do
I
your
should
shopping?
say not. There's a lot of them would like to be in my apartment.
You're proud of it and you'll hold on to it.
I certainly will, and I'll stay here till...
And so the way to move that back was moved from being a federal program to a state program. Once the states are in charge, then they get to do whatever they want to with the money, and that's what happened.
The federal government got out of the business of producing affordable housing. During the Reagan administration, the federal budget for the development of affordable housing was virtually non-existent for 8 years. And I think that has consequence even still today.
You can live here in peace, man. A black man can live here on the West Coast. I'm from West Virginia, and this is nice. You can live out here in peace. Where I'm from, a black man never smiles a lot, but I'm happy. Every day, I'm happy. I integrated in 1958 in rural Logan County. It's all white school. It was good. And I asked my daddy, I said, why? He said, because you got to learn how to live with white people. He said, you'll be able to live where you want to, not where someone wants you to live. And now I can live here in Bellingham on the West Coast.
Do we know how to produce affordable housing? Do we know how to serve people that have extensive periods of homelessness and are living with severe and persistent psychiatric disorders or chronic addictive illnesses? We know how to do that. We have demonstrated the effectiveness of contemporary approaches to those seemingly intractable problems that has proven they not only work, they actually save money.
And I thank God for bringing me out of the miserable hole and giving me life. So I put his name on my left hand where I used to shoot up, right there. And I thank God that I don't have to do that anymore. You know, I'm free, you know, I'm free, you know, I feel better. You know, I could feel, because it takes your feelings away. It takes your feelings, your thoughts, your self-respect, your everything. I mean, it just strips you of everything.
Homeless people in many instances do use other homeless people as tools to their own survival. Those behaviors have to be unlearned if they're going to move into an apartment building in a community and hope for a more thorough reintegration with the broader society.
And so you think about people who've had traumatic upbringings and they haven't had anyone standing over them saying, let's follow a routine. Let's make sure you're not hungry. Let's make sure you've got enough sleep.
And then there's all of those necessary things that have to be learned over, maybe. Keeping house or buying groceries or not becoming vulnerable to predators, predator lending, or people using your apartment or your laundry that shouldn't be, who will cause you to lose your housing if you allow too many people in, things like that.
Okay, now we're going to talk budget. Because now that you're in, do you have a copy of your lease?
Yeah.
Okay.
986.
986 is your full month's
Total.
rent. Yeah, that's manageable. Okay. And how much do you expect to pay on electric?
Our electric bill this time is always
For this month, for the half month was
$30.
$26.49. Okay. Insurance? Renter's insurance and car insurance.
Wonderful.
$118 a month?
Yeah.
Entertainment, do you get red boxes ever? No. Anything like that?
No. Cable's good. The History Channel.
Okay.
And
Kids
new
have their
trails
bikes.
all around us.
Right, yeah, definitely.
New trails all around us.
So this is...
What are you doing, tornado?
How's he doing at the new school?
He's loving it.
He is
He's loving it.
360 happy.
Yep.
Oh, good.
100%.
He's enjoying it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He comes home and smiles.
And are you communicating with his teachers?
Yeah, actually, I talked to Miss Mueller the other day when I was there.
And Danielle's still going to Head Start?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have a month and a half before you exit the housing program. And so the goal is to get to a point where you're sustainable with your income and then also potentially create a safety net just in case there are those emergencies. And then we can talk about your saving options and potentially getting that bank account.
Payment on a house.
That's what we need. That's what I want to do after here. I don't want to go to another apartment.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into our home.
A house.
A house. Don't want to live in cars no more. Don't want to have to live on the street. A safety net of your own home is nice. It's time to get a house.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah.
Hey, be quiet, guys. Quit screaming.
You guys better not be leaving that park. I got eyes on the back of my head.
Oh, I just need to copy down the budget before I go.
Oh, no, 2 weeks, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so 2 weeks. Okay. Thank you.
Our city is a housing first city, and I support that and I agree with it, which means once you get housing, then a lot of other things can happen in your life. But housing is the first thing that makes you stable and connects you with what you might need.
Every piece of academic research on the cost effectiveness of permanent supportive housing has concluded it is far cheaper for the tax-paying public to put homeless, mentally ill, homeless, drug, alcohol affected people into permanent supportive housing than it is to leave them on the street. Average citizen in the city of Seattle thought it was absolute nonsense to take a chronic alcoholic, put him in housing, and not require him to stop drinking. It sort of catalyzed a national dialogue about housing first. They will spend more money watching these folks cycle repeatedly through emergency departments, through jails, alcohol detox programs. It's far cheaper to put them in permanent supportive housing.
So we have supported permanent housing like Francis Place, which is a wonderful facility with very caring people, and they've taken people out of homeless camps and lists, the long forever waiting lists, and given them a home, a place to be.
So I'm thankful for this place. At first I didn't like it, like I said. I didn't like it at all. Just being like homeless, but you're not homeless. Because once you come off the elevator, you're in the streets. You know, the people who live here, everybody's from the streets.
Biggest movie fan of Francis Place, Mike.
But I changed my whole mind, my whole picture of the place. Melora helps me hell of a lot. Dino, he comes and checks on me. If I'm not up in the morning watching Lucy. And Mike comes and checks on me. And it's been a lot of help to me. A lot of people ever since they found out I had cancer, a lot of people been bending their back for me.
I mean, I was homeless all my life due to my alcoholism. Landed me in jail, total of 13 years. Prison, 4 years, and then 21 treatment centers. By being here, I have not been to jail once.
Francis Place saved my life. His too, and him. Yeah.
You know, all good, you know. Learned, Arnold, you know, saved my life.
It's like I've grown to love these people.
We basically are imposing on our residents the same general contract that any market rate apartment landlord would impose on their tenants. Pay your rent and be nice.
If it wouldn't be for this place, I don't think I'd exist anymore. You're getting way too old for that, laying on the cold, hard ground. After we moved in here, Olympia didn't have no more tent city. Olympia's tent city became a Coyote village. And that used to be my tent. I became homeless because divorce, alcoholism, and use of meth. And since I've been here, I've been clean off of meth and alcohol. I haven't drank in about 10 years. And now with a place to live, it's so much easier. I mean, all the stress is gone, and now I don't have the urge to indulge in drugs anymore because I don't have the stress, so I don't have to, you know, try to get rid of that. Well, see, I lived in Tent City for about 2-3 years, but before that I was out in the woods in a tent, and if you left for any amount of time, you'd come back, you wouldn't have nothing left. Being homeless, I learned not to trust people. And this has brought back being able to trust people again. When you're homeless, you're basically all by yourself. With these little cottages, we are required chores to do. Each resident is supposed to be responsible for their little patch of yard. Basically, everybody's out of their cottages sometime during the day. But then if you feel like staying in your cottage, there's nothing against that. And being in a nice little community like this, we do get to know each other more than an apartment complex. I think that everyone needs and deserves the private space. It's just nice having your own place that you can just come to and be by yourself. This is a godsend. I mean, this is going to be the place I live the rest of my life.
There was a concomitant 30% reduction in alcohol consumption, and the reduction in alcohol consumption has continued. Part of that is just simply moving off the street into housing. When an alcoholic is on the street, he is going to go in and buy whatever his product of choice is and consume it immediately, because if he doesn't, his buddies on the street are going to want him to share it with them. A police officer is going to confiscate it from them. Once you move into housing, you put your bottle in your cabinet. And one of the neat things is watching people begin to express remorse for all the loss and pain that their addiction has subjected them to. Man, those are pregnant moments to help people live healthier lives.
Born and raised in Bellingham, born at Whatcom County Hospital. I got hurt on the job, and from being hurt on the job, I got injured pretty bad, and when my employer said, come back to work, I went back to work, and they had a whole mill shut down, everybody got laid off, and kind of like shot my L&I. And I've been on the streets for almost 2 years now. But I've been to all my family, and they did as much as they could, you know. It's just, I don't know where to turn. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know what to do. I don't even know where to come to go to here to look for housing. I don't know.
I hear a lot of people say that Bellingham is a place where there are a lot of services, and there are. There are a lot of services. However, it's not always easy to get connected with those services. It takes anywhere from a month to a month and a half to really get them established, and then they may only be able to meet with somebody, you know, once every 2 weeks or so at best. So you've got a lot of folks who have really serious issues who don't have access to the treatment that they need. How are you supposed to get to appointments if you are in a camp and you don't have electricity or access to a shower? What do you do with all of your stuff? You know, it's just there are so many complex issues that makes it difficult for somebody to access the services they need.
Every city thinks they're a magnet. Everyone. And the reality is they're all correct. They are magnets. Major metropolitan centers are magnets for everybody.
You know, there are people who say over and over again, y'all are going to keep having homeless in Bellingham because the word is out that go to Bellingham, they'll take care of you.
And we're attracting people from San Antonio and Philadelphia.
I don't think it's that Bellingham is soft on homeless issues. I think there's a cruelty.
What do you think? Homeless people have a Condé Nast that rates cities according to the generosity of its free lunch?
It isn't that Bellingham is soft. It is that things are fair. And fairness is what it should be about.
And the second thing that I ask people that espouse that, were you born and raised in Seattle? Seattle was a magnet for us. We came here seeking a better life for ourselves. Why shouldn't it be a magnet for poor folks? Why shouldn't it be a magnet for disenfranchised people?
What's exciting about Functional Zero is that not only is it a sort of a concept, but it's been proven out. You can drive that number to zero so that when a veteran presents as unsheltered, they are offered not just a one-size-fits-all intervention, but an intervention that matches where they're at.
People need a hand up, not a hand out.
To exercise these privileges takes much more than just legal right. It requires a trained mind and a healthy body. It requires a decent home and the chance to find a job and the opportunity to escape from the clutches of poverty.
Do you want to light?
For me, the solution is to end the homeless condition as quickly as you possibly can. Don't worry about sobriety. Don't worry about abstinence. Don't worry about willingness to enter mental health treatment, but end all the chaos associated with homelessness and provide the individual with a very stable, secure platform to begin a recovery process. And I'm using that in a much larger sense than just the recovery from drugs or alcohol.
Fredrick Charlie. We remember with humility that we all began this life in innocence and wonder.
It's recovering the ability to more fully participate in the life of the community.